The Orange waited until the last game of the season to pull out their biggest win, and they did so without scoring from the field in the last 8 minutes and 45 seconds, cementing the appropriate title of the Cardiac Cuse. We'll give you the quadrant breakdown heading into the ACC tournament. This game's fan feedback, and Syracuse heads to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn for the rubber match against Wake Forest and the first round of the ACC tournament Tuesday, March 5th at 7. Let's go.
Make some noise, Orange fans. It's time for the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. Give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast.
All right, what's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Nation podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. At the end of this episode, we are going to play for you the Lawrence Moten, obviously, most of you know, had his jersey put in the rafters, and CuseTV, the official Syracuse Athletics YouTube channel, put together a little something. So we've cut that, and we'll put that in. We'll close the show out with that, so the audio from that, just to let you know. All right, Syracuse set the crowd record and has broke it now 2 times this year. The Orange improved to 19-12 overall, 8-10 in the ACC, beating number 18 Clemson 55-52 in front of 28,670 fans. And I just have to pause to say that I am seriously shocked and thankful for the Syracuse fans that show up to these games sometimes. I mean, Syracuse area just got pounded with like 18 inches of snow.
I know, amazing.
The day before, and you get 28,000, almost 29,000 fans out there for a game. It's awesome,
yep.
And enough cannot be said about them. You don't find fans like this across the country. You just don't. So they get an A+, and everybody else can pretty much go pound sand. So, all right. Brissett and Battle, exactly right. Brissett and Battle led the Orange with 17 points each. Brissett 4 for 9 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, and 8 of 9 from the line. Battle was 5 for 20 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 4 at the line. Howard only with 11 points. He struggled a little bit. He was 4 for 14. 2 of those were threes. The Cuse shot only 30% from the field as a team to Clemson's 40. My notable has to be Marek, I guess, with the 8 points, rebounding from a very flat last few games, especially the last game he had. He just looked like a deer caught in the headlights. He was 3 for 8 and 2 for 3 from the line. Marquise Reed led the Tigers with 21 points. He was the only Clemson player to hit a 3, going 5 for 7 from behind the arc, and 18 points from Elijah Thomas. He gave Syracuse fits all day. On defense and offense, so he was great. Finally, Syracuse turned the ball over 7 times and won the battle of the boards, 36-33, with 15 offensive rebounds. That very well could have been the difference, those offensive rebounds, because I think the possessions were Syracuse with 56 and Clemson with 57. So, all right, Joe, we had to have it. And this would be a totally different show today without a win yesterday in the Dome to close out the season. What do you think?
No, it was definitely a must-win. Like you said, definitely big shout-out to the fans. Not only did they battle a snowstorm to get there, and again, I think it was the most people in a game this year. So I think that's the 3rd time we've done that this year. So, but then they were loud. So
very loud.
A lot of times we kind of get at them a little bit for not
being loud enough.
Right, for being there but not being into the game. And yesterday they definitely were. There was definitely a sense of urgency with that game yesterday, and the players were motivated. And maybe it took a real quick timeout after the first 20-something seconds to
that set the pace
sink
for
in.
Howard.
Yeah, pretty much. But overall, as far as the grade goes, give it an A- just because as ugly as it looked, we were going against a very, very good defensive team, and it wasn't just our big 3 that played. Everyone played. Without Marek's offense, without Chukwu's defense, I mean, that double block in that one play was just ridiculous. I have no idea how he got off the floor that fast.
It's like,
but I mean, just in his hands, I mean, he knocked away a couple of balls, got a steal. So without Merrick's offense and without Chukwu's defense, then we probably don't win that game. Also, without Tyus Battle's little run there coming out of the second half where I think he scored 8 straight points, that was pretty big for us too. So it's tough to give one person an actual player of the game. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is just morph Merrick and Chukwu into one player with their offense and their defense, and that was the player of the game. So
yeah, that's thinking outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
They were stellar, and Chukwu, like, watching a giant climb out of a hole for that second block on that play. I mean, was there a defensive play that can even come close to that this year from Syracuse basketball?
I don't know. We've had some good ones. We're a very good, blocking team. We have
two
decent
in
amount
a row, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think also a lot of it has to do with, if you see Brissett do that or something, you'd think, oh yeah. But with Chukwu, he looked banged up just running around.
Yeah, he couldn't even get down the court fast. So
right.
he limped the whole way.
So I mean, when he fell down, it looked like it was going to take him 5 minutes to get up, and for some reason, somehow he got up faster than the other guy that fell and blocked the shot out of nowhere. So
I know it was great. They played what they scratched and clawed all day. Nothing looked easy. Everything was a struggle. They did get to penetrate a little bit, and after getting killed by the 3-ball against BC, Clemson was only 5 of 16 overall. Mm-hmm. And Gabe DeVoe, who's a 41% 3-point shooter, was 0 for 6. I mean, you only had one guy that was able to connect from 3. So I know it's a struggle to score, and I get that, and it's been the story of the season, but both teams went about 6 minutes without scoring in the first half, and I just wish that Syracuse could take something like that and capitalize on some solid defensive play once in a while, because now is the time of the year when you actually need to really capitalize on that stuff, and now it's important. So I get it that it's hard. It's something we've struggled with all year, but the bright side, Mark looked more confident even after missing shots. That was good to see. He was able to penetrate a couple times. He even showed off a little spin move to the bucket one time. He had a nice little floater. I mean, he could do it. I want to see more of that from Mark. I want to see that because he can change it. He can change a lot of things. People coming into the games thinking, oh, you got to worry about Battle, Brissett, and Howard. You add Mark into the mix, like you were saying, and you can add a whole entire different dynamic to the offense. So good to see him doing that. I thought it was great. So anyway, the one thing, though, that bothers me, here we go. I get the feeling that Moyer doesn't have his heart in the game right now. And, he was getting reamed out by Coach Joe, and he just looked like he couldn't care less. Just like, whatever. Hall of Fame coach reaming me out because I'm making bad plays, and I couldn't care less. So I feel that, that needs to be corrected. Yesterday.
No, I think Boeheim showed in the second half that he could care less if Moyer sits his butt on the bench for the whole half.
I know, but why though, man? Why? I mean, this is you're part of a team, man. Like, you grew up doing this. Well, you should know that. It's like he thinks he's too good to be criticized. Like he's he's above that or something. And we can come back. We can hit that back. Hit A-. I agree. Maybe the first time you and I agree on a grade. Considering everything, I would have given him an A, honestly, just because of the type of win it was. But because I had chest pains for the last hour, I knocked him down a notch. So my player of the game, I'll take Brissett. I'll take kind of the obvious route here. He was awesome. 2 steals. He had 3 blocks too, and he was able to penetrate. It was good to see him able to penetrate too, and actually finish some of these. And he did fantastic from the line, 8 for 9. So good job for him. So fine. Do you want to piggyback on anything real quick? Final thought.
Well, I just think that a little bit of yesterday's game. What I wanted to mention was, if you look at it, Syracuse beat them in every category that we talk about: free throws, rebounding, offensive and defensive, steals,
points off turnovers.
Points off turnovers. We shot a better 3-point percentage. The only thing that they beat us in was field goal percentage. So, again, we won all those categories, and still talking about
Barely
we only
scraped it
won
out.
by 3. So that's what Clemson does. They make it difficult to beat you, and you got to be able to make some plays at the end of the game, and we did. So.
Yeah, it was great defense, too, at the end of the game that won it. And that's been kind of our formula all year. So,
Yep, and every single Jim Boeheim should buy a defibrillator for every single Syracuse fan. That should be something that comes along with being.
They should be under the seat at the Dome, you know, pull in case of emergency.
Yep.
All right, the 17 points battle scored solidified his 1,000 career points. He is 62nd 1,000 point scorer in Syracuse basketball history, and they total among Division I teams in 5th for that stat. Syracuse is now 2-10 when trailing at the half. The only other victory when trailing at the half was Georgetown back in December. Syracuse's win was the Orange's first of the year against a team that was ranked in the AP Top 25. We know that. 1-6 now against Top 25 this season. The attendance record, largest on-campus crowd for a basketball game this season. And, of course, Clemson leads the series 4-3. All right, Joe, I imagine that we had to have improved a little bit here heading into tournament play for one of our last looks at RPI before the tournaments, the other 2 big tournaments start. So, how much did that help us out? We were at 50, just to refresh. We were at 50 RPI, and we were at a 15 strength of schedule, right?
I think it was 16, but
16?
it's
Okay.
close enough.
All right, go ahead. Where are we at now, buddy?
Okay, so after yesterday, and all these stats are based upon real-time RPI.com, and it was the results of last night. I looked at everything this morning, so nothing that's happened today has any effect toward this. But currently, our RPI is 42, strength schedule 13th. We sit at 19-12 for the season, 8-10 in the ACC. So, got us an 11 seed in the ACC tournament. And as far as our quadrant wins, it did shift a little bit. Obviously, the win got us another quadrant 1 win. So with the quadrant 1, we went from 2-7 to 3-7. The one hit that we did take a little bit is this past weekend, Maryland lost early, and that was their conference game. So I don't know if they might have a non-conference game maybe in between this next week or whatever. But the Big Ten after today, they're going to be done all the way up to Selection Sunday. So I don't really think they have any chance to build up the resume. And by them losing, the Maryland game dropped down to a quadrant 3 win. Okay. Toledo lost this weekend, and it also dropped them down to quadrant 3 win. So we might have gotten better in the quadrant 1. So we're currently 3-7 with that. But quadrant 2, after this weekend, we dropped down to 2-3 from 4-3 because we lost those 2 wins, which pumps up our quadrant 3 wins to 9-2 and our quadrant 5 to 5-0. So, and it's right there too. Toledo's RPI is like 80th. Maryland's is like 78th or something like that. I mean, and the cutoff is 70. They get to 75, and that's a quadrant 2 win. So they're right there. But so I don't know. I mean, again, this is all new to us. We have no idea what the committee is going to be looking for and what's going to be their stat of the year as far as what they want to.
Yeah, it's like they put it out there. You think that, to me, like right now, if the season ended, if there's no ACC tournament, okay, we're in.
I believe that too.
You add in the ACC tournament, and it's still an unknown, and we don't know what's going to happen. And
well, yeah, but for all those guys out there, for all those the NIT bound and people that think that we have to win the ACC tournament to get into the tournament,
they're not paying attention.
No, because just this morning, I checked Jerry Palm's bracketology with CBSSports.com, and he had us in a play-in game, and also I believe Bracketville.com, which has been the most accurate bracketology website in the past 5 years, has got us in the play-in game as well. So like you said, absolutely, if there were no conference games and the season ended today and Selection Sunday was today, we would be in.
Right.
So...
yeah, I mean, the season has not been like a huge failure. We just we just didn't have any big wins until yesterday, which, thank God we got it because, absolute last chance, obviously, and we got it. So, all right, Joe, time for fan feedback. Okay, I tried to pull a lot of positive things. A couple. We'll go through these quick. To save time for ACC tournament talk, go to facebook.com/Cuse Nation podcast. Give us the thumb up there. I was all over Twitter. I'm getting the hang of the Twitter thing. At Cuse Nation Show on Twitter if you want to give us a follow.
And I'm getting the hang of reading what you're posting.
Yeah.
So
are you
keep it up there, Tweety.
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, come on. Help me out.
Oh, I didn't know you want. Okay.
Yeah, you're hooked up in there. You can go tweet too. Goodness gracious.
Tweet.
And what was I going to say? I forget. Okay, great. All right, so I had posted something after the game that said, we're still alive, not over yet. We'll see what happens in the tournament, something along those lines on Facebook. And we got Steve. Steve's a Syracuse fan, and Steve.
We think.
No, I think he is. And I'm not sure if Steve is a pessimistic or a realist. But a pessimist or a realist, rather. But he goes ahead. He says, "I disagree. Still going to the NIT, but we don't know what's going to happen in the tournament yet." So, But I responded to him. I said, "I know you do, Steve. I know you think we're going to the NIT." He's been saying that all year. So he did. He did admit though a great win, but finishing 8-10 in the conference is NIT bound. I mean, I don't know. We're one win away from 500. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he wrote the same thing, I think, at halftime of the Cornell game. So
first game of the season. Charles said, has to be one of my all-time favorite SU clubs simply because of how difficult the season has been for them, and yet they keep fighting. Give these kids an NCAA tourney bid. Charles. We need to give Charles a microphone. Get him on the show, right? What the hell?
I think that might be the one thing. Like you said, it's great to watch. I think we should all have defibrillators, but they've definitely played above their head, and a team like this could easily have given up or put their head down. And sometimes in the season, I mean, how many times this year has it looked like they have in one of the games, or maybe at the end of one of the games where they lose a close one, and then all of a sudden they come back and win a game that we never thought they would, and erases all the bad stuff that happened, prior to that, and here we are, bubble watch.
Here we are, and Charles nails it. I mean, after getting walloped by Boston College last week, they came back and you know what, too? Another thing that people get enamored by is whether or not the committee's going to pick bubble teams that they think can make runs or by deserving. If you pick a team, if it gets near the end here, we beat Wake Forest, we get to UNC, probably be in a situation where if you look at the deserving team, the team that played the toughest schedule, that maybe won some games and look at their talent, like we probably are going to be a more deserving bubble team, but we're probably not going to be one of the sexier bubble teams that somebody in the committee might think could make a Sweet 16 run. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Donald says they won by 3 points, and he LOLs like a teenager. I don't know. Who cares? They won by 1 point.
Yeah.
I don't care. Joe, do you care?
Don't care.
Okay.
I don't care if it's half a point.
I know, right? Mick says, please don't tell me they have a chance with this win to get in. Get to the semis in the ACC tourney, then maybe. I don't know. I disagree with that. And we'll talk about that.
If we make it to the semis of the ACC tournament, we'll be a 9 seed.
Yeah, right?
Get out of here.
Jen says, true fans stick with these kids, thick and thin. Exactly, Jen. Exactly. This is your team. I don't know. I don't understand the bad-mouthing of your own team.
Right.
Okay. I take it back. To a certain extent, I do. But all the time, and then the ignorant comments about they need to win the tournament, they need to get to the semifinals to get in. What? I mean, I don't understand that. I don't even understand that.
Well, I mean, I'm a Giants fan, and I had expectations coming in this year, and up until when they were 100% eliminated, I was positive.
Yep, and like Larry says here, whether we make the tourney or not, I love my team. They make memories that I will never forget. I'm 60 years old, seen ups and downs, but always go orange. That's right. I mean, you know, we've been, you and I have both been watching them since the 80s, you know?
Yeah.
So there was plenty of, I mean, losing championships. Nothing crushes you like losing a championship when it's your team and you're a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's see. One more. Kevin says, I enjoyed the game. It was great to see Moten honored, class act player. That speech he gave was good. I got chills when he was talking, actually. And if you remember the sock hike, that's what's in now. This guy was 20 years ahead of his time with the jacking up of the socks. So my son does that now, and it's just hilarious.
My brother did it forever.
Growing up, you did it because Moten. You know what I'm saying? And then these kids do it now. It's hilarious. So, I think staying positive right now, we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, what else are you going to do? I'm not going to beat this team up. They have just fought and absolutely no reason to get down on them. No one's they're probably their own worst critic. Yeah. They're harder on themselves than we'll probably ever be, except for Moyer.
And I mean, to be fair, when I learned that Torian Thompson was leaving, and then we had Thorpe, and then Thorpe left, I mean, I thought realistically that we were probably going to be NIT bound anyway. So
yeah,
I mean, that was my realistic expectation, was NIT bound. I thought that was a lot of people's, especially the experts. So
do you think if we get in, Joe? I know what you think, but I'm going to ask you because I'm not sure if you've said it on the air or not. If we get into the NCAA tournament, is this one of Jim Boeheim's best coaching expeditions or what? What do you think?
Yeah, I think
it's got to be, right? It's got to be, right? I mean, right up there with some of the Final Fours and obviously the championship, because everybody's been counting us out in our own fans for months, halfway through the season. So
yeah. I think we were like preseason to finish like 13th or something like that in the ACC, and
well, we did.
11th.
Are we 11th?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got. Joe, anything to add?
No, sir.
No? All right. Facebook.com/Cuse Nation Podcast or at Cuse Nation Show on Twitter. All right, Joe. We are going to face Wake Forest for a third time this year in Brooklyn.
Ugh.
Should be a heavy Syracuse-filled stadium, I would imagine, for that game. We did get the extra half a day to play not at noon but at 7. But these are games from here on out if we win. So go ahead, give me your thoughts on Wake Forest, and then give us the path. And what in your expectations, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't think I talked to you yesterday when I was talking about Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, and who I'd rather play, and what was going on with Boston College and Wake Forest and them. And I honestly thought that I just don't think that we match up good against Wake Forest or Georgia Tech overall. But Georgia Tech, they beat Wake Forest. Boston College ended up losing. So we play Wake Forest. Really wasn't in our hands. Third time playing them, and they definitely match up good against us. If you can remember, I mean, first game, Bryant Crawford and Wilbekin, they beat us up pretty good. Those are some tough guards that can shoot the three.
That was at their home.
Yeah, but home, they were still kind of there for like the home game for a little while when we played them at home though as well. Their big guy down low. Moore, he's been a problem for us as well. So I only hope that they can come out with the same intensity and, like you said, playing in New York. And the fact of the matter is that if they don't lose this game, then we're definitely not in. So again, we're getting down to the point where last week was against Clemson was a must win, and now this is a must win because there's going to be so many more games after us, and that's probably what hurt us last year. I think last year, if we would have beat Georgia Tech and then gone on to the next round and played against a tournament team, it would have boosted our stock a little bit. We'd have played another game. And I think that this year we're in a similar situation. So, yeah, that's kind of my go at it. I mean, going 20-12, or possibly, if we go and we lose to North Carolina, be in the second round. That's again going to be a difficult game. Every game is going to be difficult. So. Don't really know. I don't really know. No one knows. That's the one thing that everyone wants to look at who's more accurate about the bracketology and whatever. Like, this is the first year with the quadrant system, man. So no one really knows.
Yeah, and the important thing I think though to take away from the Clemson game, for one, keeping us alive. Second, I think there was a lot of smiles on the faces of the kids at the end of that game. They were proud to put themselves in the position that they're in. Hopefully carrying that momentum. The momentum is huge. It's key, in confidence going into the end of the year, and winning a game like that right before your conference tournament. I mean, it only helps. It only helps.
Yeah.
So
and honestly, I think all we really have to do is just kind of play the way that we played. I thought the same thing last time against Boston College, was just more or less just push the zone out there. If they're going to shoot threes, they got to be deep like Reed was shooting them yesterday, and force them to just go down low. Who cares? I mean, that one guy, I forget his name, was Elijah Thomas yesterday for
Elijah Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great game, but let them beat you down there, because he did what he did and they still wasn't enough. So, make their big men beat you. Don't let Bryant Crawford and Wilbekin both go for 20+ and shoot 50% from the 3-point line. Because if that happens,
make them do it with twos, man, if they're going to do it.
Right, and we just got to keep up what we're doing. We see the offense. Dolce's got to stay aggressive. Our big three got to try to take it to the hole and get to the line. Shoot the open shot when it's there. And again, like I said, if we play defense like we did against Clemson and we push out and don't let them shoot the threes like that, then we should be fine. And they'll get their points in the middle, but as long as we just take care of the ball and just play smart and just don't let them beat us with the threes, I think we'll be okay.
All right. Well, okay, let me give you I don't mean to give you a brain teaser. It's not a brain teaser. Just give me your opinion without adding all the other specifics. Go to the ACC tournament, beat Wake Forest, okay? Because we know if we lose, we're out, okay?
Yes.
Okay, go in, beat Wake Forest, get that extra game against UNC. Will give us a little bit of bump in strength of schedule. RPI won't go up that much if we lose.
No.
Do we get in if we lose to UNC? That's a 50-50, isn't it? That's a tough call.
Again, I mean, you've heard me say it, and there's just a lot of variables that you said that you don't want me to go into specifics about. So there's a lot of variables that's going to control that, but that's basically like expect to not make it and be grateful if you do kind of situation.
Yeah, but
that's kind of how I would go into it. I mean, but it's at that scale to where you lose to Wake Forest, you're out. If you beat Wake Forest and you go in and you lose to North Carolina, you have no damn clue. And then if you beat North Carolina,
you're in.
Then you're in.
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely.
To me, that's kind of where it's at. But just because we lose, if we were to beat Wake Forest and then lose North Carolina, just because we lose North Carolina does not mean necessarily that we'll be 100% out. It'll just be a far shot.
Right. It's always that gray area, Joe, that we've always been back and forth on for the past month. If they do this and they do this, and then we're just always in that gray area. And
well, the gray area is the damn NCAA committee. That's what it's always been. Because every year they have an excuse.
Yeah,
it could be anything. Oh, your non-conference schedule wasn't tough enough.
Which is
you didn't
BS.
have enough road wins. You didn't have. There's always. So now that they came up with this, you'd like to think that they'd go off of this quadrant thing, but still, we haven't really seen it in action in place.
Right.
Explain it. So this year, I'd be willing to bet that the bracketology is going to be way off this year. Way off more than normal, and I think there'll be probably some surprises as far as teams that people have been talking about that are in all along that don't make it, and vice versa.
If you keep your RPI under 50 and your strength of schedule, I'm talking specifically about Syracuse, and your strength of schedule, around 10 to 15, I mean, that's a strong resume just based on those numbers by themselves.
Yeah.
We do have the road wins this year. We didn't have an easy conference schedule. We do have a signature win, although it's one.
Bad losses are limited.
Bad losses were limited. You know,
right. But then they have. But like I said, if you looking at it from the outside, well, they went 8. You went 8-10 in your conference.
One win away from 500, though. I mean,
but still, you weren't even 500 in your conference.
Yeah, I know. But look at the conference.
There's always an excuse. Oh, you went 14-2 between quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 games, and you only went 5-10 in between quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 games. Like,
I think that's solid, dude. I really do.
Well, considering that's the one thing is how much do they consider the strength of schedule. If our strength of schedule is top 15, and we end up getting this 20th, and we get this 20th win, and then lose to North Carolina, who's got an RPI of like 6. Like, it just makes, zero sense to me.
Yeah.
Again, it still has a lot to do with what's going on. It has a lot to do with what's going on with this game on CBS right now with Loyola Chicago and Middle Tennessee State whenever they play in their tournament, Nevada. There's a lot of teams that – those are the variables we talk about, and hopefully we can just figure out once and for all the deal with this quadrant crap and
we'll know
how much NCAA is going to put into it. And
I'm telling you right now, man,
it's going to be interesting.
We still are going to do in the postseason. We're going to do the NCAA stuff, and,
regardless, like we did last year, yeah.
Right, and also we're going to do another episode on the NCAA itself. Like we were talking, we'll put something together.
Oh yeah. But wouldn't it be so much easier if we just made the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, and I didn't have to
talk about two different tournaments.
Yeah, that's true.
Because now we got to talk about the NIT tournament because Syracuse is in it. If Syracuse made the NCAA tournament, then we wouldn't say anything about the NIT tournament. So now we got to,
Yeah. So
that's just extra work. Come on, Cuse.
I know. Let's do this. Beat Wake Forest. I think if we beat Wake Forest, we're in. That's what I think. You can beat Wake Forest, you can lose to North Carolina, and still get in. I'm sticking to that. So, and again, that's a possibility, man. That is so.
But there are games in between then and now
that
can change
Joe.
that.
Here we go. I know. All right. So here's the deal. They're playing games every day. We're not going to be able to get to record episodes that fast. Being that, this is our hobby. So we will have to see what happens, and if we can get to do to record another show, we absolutely will. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But if you subscribe to whatever platform you listen on, we'll be in your library if one does come up. So that's it, Joe. We'll just have to see, and we'll get back to do another show as soon as possible. So remember, stick around at the end of this episode. I stuck in that Lawrence Moten tribute that Cuse TV put together. It's really good, so check it out. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out. Later.
Peace.
Syracuse basketball legend Lawrence Moten.
Lawrence Moten came to Syracuse after starring at Archbishop Carroll in D.C. and the New Hampton School in New Hampshire. Moten immediately made an impact on the court and connected with the Syracuse fans. With his signature knee-high socks, Moten started all but 3 games in 4 years. Lawrence's knack for scoring was noticed immediately. As a freshman, Moten averaged 18 points per game and scored 583 for the season. Moten's freshman run resulted in being named Big East Rookie of the Year and third-team All-Conference. When the dust settled on 4 prolific seasons, Moten ended his career not only as Syracuse's all-time leading scorer with 2,334 points, but also the Big East's all-time leader, a record he still holds to this day. Lawrence is the only Orange player to score at least 500 points in each of 4 seasons. During Moten's time on campus, team accomplishments included a Big East championship and a Sweet 16. After finishing at Syracuse, Moten took his smooth style to the NBA for 3 seasons with the Grizzlies and his hometown Wizards before playing abroad. Moten has devoted his post-playing days to coaching and giving back to the game he loves.
Lawrence Moten, one of the great scorers that's ever played at Syracuse, still the all-time leading scorer in the Big East Conference. Unbelievable accomplishment. He scored 18 every game he played here, it seemed like, without any effort. You look at the stat sheet after the game, Lawrence has got 18 every game for 4 years. That's hard to do. Great player. Congratulations, Lawrence. Well deserved to be up in the rafters.
Joining Syracuse University Chancellor Kent Syverud and Director of Athletics John Wildhack on the court is his daughters Laurencia and Lelena, and his guest, former football player Al Moten and Syracuse basketball great John Wallace. Let's give them a Syracuse Orange welcome.
Let it die down a little bit with the
And now, please turn your attention to the top of section 309 as we unveil Lawrence Moten's number 21 jersey for permanent recognition inside the Carrier Dome. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Lawrence Moten is being presented a number 21 frame jersey in recognition of this special day.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank my family and friends, that couldn't be here. It was a tough ride from D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, but they're with me in spirit. Thank my two beautiful daughters that came here to support me today. They're beautiful girls. Absolutely. And I definitely want to thank all my fans and friends for giving me the love and the support for 4 years. I truly consider Syracuse my second home. You guys have showed me a lot of love. One quick special thing that you guys got to understand and really take heed to what I'm saying. I'll be the third guy from the Washington, D.C. area to have my jersey retired at Syracuse. First, there's Dave Bing. Great man. Second, there's Sherman Douglas. Great player. And I'll be the third guy, so understand this. That officially makes us three Georgetown Killers. I truly appreciate the love and the support. For those who don't know, I'm back in the Syracuse area, and I have a lot of love from South Bricks to Skinny Alice to Auburn and Camillus. I love all of you. Understand that. I truly love all of you. And last but not least, I'm having a nice, event this afternoon, 7 o'clock, for all of my family and friends. I want you to come out. It's at the Hotel Syracuse, and it's my way to show you all that I appreciate the love you've given me. Thank you very much.
There he is, poetry in Moten. Ladies and gentlemen, the Big East and Syracuse all-time leading scorer, Big East Rookie of the Year, 3-time All Big East first team selection, Lawrence Moten.